So we have a new tourniquet on the block competing for real estate. Now, I think it's interesting, and we're going to talk about all the interesting features, grub screw, you know, the chem stick here, how small it is, lightweight, the action bar, this gate, all this kind of stuff I want to talk about really quickly and how it stacks up to its kind of predecessors or legacy tourniquets. So of course, this is my opinion, being a 10-year or a decade plus in military and law enforcement, so I have utilized these in actual situations. These are the two tourniquets that I typically gravitate towards. A Gen 7 CAT, which I'm not going to really talk about it too much because everybody knows, but it is kind of lengthy and a bit girthy and difficult as an everyday carrier to carry this on your body because these wings or the windlass retention kind of sticks out, which for everyday carry, I kind of transition over to the soft T-wide. Very thin if you do it right, but metal construction, which helps with that UV light, especially if you're mounting it to the exterior of plate carriers and stuff like that, or other gear. You don't have to cover it because sun UV light will destroy CAT tourniquets over time. I've saw it occur, that's why I typically go with this. And this ETQ by Snake Staff Solutions is kind of like a bridge in between the two. It takes kind of the benefits-ish of both. So where does it really stack up? Well, lightweight and compactness is kind of a big deal, which if we want to actually look at the weight specifically, that's the Gen 7 CAT coming in at 2.8 ounces, right? So let's go to the soft T-wide real quick. Let's see how much this thing's weighing. Talking 3.9 ounces. And then let's throw on the ETQ, coming in at 1.4. That's a big savings, honestly, if you really think about it, especially if you are a user that carries multiple tourniquets for maybe a mass casualty kit, or maybe you have your IFAK for you, but then you also carry extra kit on you for other people. If you went through and replaced all your tourniquets out of your gear, including your IFAKs and your mass casualty kits, you may save half a pound in weight, which realistically, anything that, you know, lessens your weight but keeps your capabilities is a solid win. So let's actually talk about, does it keep that capability really quick? Well, it's not exactly TCCC rated just yet, but they are going through the process, which of course these two are, these legacy tourniquets are. Now, something interesting that it incorporates, as you look here, is a chem stick, a tiny little one with a grub screw. Now, I've already unscrewed it for us, so it doesn't take, you know, forever, so I can show you guys much easier. But you can place that off to the side if you want, if you use an Allen key. And you can replace this out, because what it's intended for, at least you can change out the colors too, is when this is placed and you press down on that action bar as you're wrapping it around, it breaks this, illuminating, hey, you have a notification that this is utilized where it is on the body, maybe a low light, dark situation. This is a benefit. Now, these little chem sticks are pretty cool. You can change out the colors if you like. It comes with a green one. I don't know if I probably will go to the red. Brightness arguments there, kind of nonsense or whatever. But I think it's an interesting and pretty cool design, especially when you're training with it. If you do break it, interchange it, you're solid, good to go. Now, it does incorporate instructions in here as well, which is kind of cool. Is if you just throw this to someone and someone has no idea what they're doing, they can literally read on here of like, okay, you know, place this around blah, 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 2 inches high, you know, above or high and tight, and then go ahead and cinch down, twist, and then the gate. Which the gate is fairly interesting too, is I think this is going to be difficult in a training scenario, especially if you go ahead and lock this thing down when you're just training with it, and then it locks in there. It is going to be a very pain to get that thing out. So granted, I'm complaining about training here, but of course we all know we need to train. But in a real world scenario, that gate is pretty beneficial. So I think the lightweightness overall is very interesting. This is actually the larger model too. They do make a smaller model. This is kind of their military law enforcement based one, I guess you could say. But for the most part, I think it's fairly interesting and a kind of a cool design. I am interested in seeing if this gets approved by TCCC. Well, we'll see, I guess you could say, because sometimes they take a long time or sometimes they're very quick about it. They don't normally do new tourniquets that often, at least they didn't used to. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I think it's pretty cool. I will be carrying this with me, but I assure you these two will also be with me as well, especially on my professional kits and stuff like that, because if this fails, which I suspect it probably won't, but there's always that possibility, I have a solid backup that I have used before and I have trained heavily with. So kind of in the moment, if I want to decide to use it, kind of goes with it. But I'm definitely going to be training with it and we'll see how it performs. Probably do another video on it. If you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, want to see updates on it, see how this tourniquet is eventually going to stack up, because we're going to do another video later on, then definitely hit like, subscribe.